cool show on the Travel Channel called Dead Files. I don't know if you guys know him, but his name's Steve DiSchiavi. And the show is pretty hot. So, and obviously, by the reaction that I've been getting on Twitter from posting the graphic of the show, wow, he must be a little bit hot, too. The ladies are loving him. He should be calling here pretty soon, and we'll start chatting with Steve. But I wanted to tell you a little bit about an event coming up this weekend at Sloss Furnaces real quick while we're waiting. Sloss Furnaces is in Birmingham, Alabama, and there's an event going on there the 13th and 14th. Me and a couple of really cool people are going to be there doing an investigation and an event and lectures and all that good stuff. So you can get your tickets at slossfurnaces.com/events. And come join us. We're going to have a blast. There's going to be a guy, I believe, set on fire both days, Friday and Saturday. So that'll be something cool. And I wanted to also say that we are doing... Is he here? Is he there?
I'm here.
Hi, Steve. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I am great. Let me just tell you, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And let me just say that my audience seems to be a tad bit excited that you're on my show tonight.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I don't think I've seen so many women retweet, favorite, retweet, and say, "Oh my God, I'm listening. Steve's the man." And so you are the hit with the ladies, obviously.
I will never get used to that. That's for sure.
Well, let me tell you, you will have no shortage of ladies loving on you, because they were just like, I've never seen it before. I put the show graphic on Twitter and it just blew up. So I am so happy that you're on here, and I also want to thank you for your service in the Marines. Hoorah.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
And as a police officer, I really appreciate your service. How in the world did it happen that you were a homicide detective in New York and you ended up on a show called The Dead Files? How did that happen?
I ask myself that same question all the time.
I'm sure.
It's actually it's kind of a cute story, I guess. I mean, I'm not an actor. I never wanted to be an actor. I never wanted to be on TV. I mean, this wasn't something I had planned on. The ABC News did a documentary on the NYPD, and they did a 7-part series that involved every aspect of the job. And the first episode was the Homicide Squad, and I was the featured detective in that episode.
Uh-huh.
A producer in Hollywood was talking with an executive from a network about doing a show involving a private investigator, and the network executive had seen the documentary and told Chip Coffey, who created the Dead Files, well, you may want to check this guy out. I just saw on this documentary. I think he'd be great for television. And I got a phone call not too soon after I retired, which is going on almost 10 years now, from Jim Casey's office. And we had done a few pilots together. Some stuff, and all the networks thought I was too New York for them and too abrasive. And, yeah, go figure, right?
Right.
He approached me in 2009 about the Dead Files. And I had been working for Merrill Lynch at the time, doing fraud investigations, losing my mind, by the way. I couldn't take it. I should be on a desk in front of 2 computers. I wanted to kill myself.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so he called me about this Dead Files, and I'm like, I'm not doing a paranormal show. You're out of your mind. Not that I don't believe in the paranormal. I do. People get me wrong all the time. They think I don't believe in the paranormal. I do believe in the paranormal. I just don't believe people.
Right.
That's what it boils down to. So he asked me about, he just begged me to come out to Denver and fly out there and meet Amy and some other psychics that were there. And after we did the first episode together, it wasn't really an episode. It's what they call a sizzle.
Right.
So they
sizzle reel or whatever. Yeah.
Right. So they can show it to the networks. That's what they call the lost episode on the website. And that was the first thing we did together. And Amy blew me away because I knew she didn't have any of this information. And that was it. I said, listen, I'll do the show as long as we have the concept that we agreed on, which is the concept of the show itself. But I said I'll work with Amy, not the rest of these other mediums he had there, because they didn't impress me at all. So,
Right.
then a year after that is when we got the call that the Travel Channel was interested in the show.
Wow. That is so crazy. And I was wondering, a lot of people bug you all the time about Amy and stuff like that, and people are like, oh, I love both of them so much, and she is a trip. And I was wondering, did you work with any psychics prior to, like, when you were a police officer? Did y'all use psychics in the department at all, ever, or was that something new to you?
No, actually, it's frowned upon by the NYPD, and probably 98% of police agencies are frowned upon it. But I did use 2 psychics where, it's not admissible in court. And this is the main reason you can't use psychics. But as a good detective and you need a break on a case, you'll do whatever you're going to do to make a pick, try to get a break. And so I employed out of my own pocket two different psychics on 2 separate cases. Then I had some whack jobs come to me and say, "Oh, I got information on this case. I saw it in a vision." Real jerk job.
Oh yeah.
You get the whack jobs and you got to weed them out. But for the most part, I wasn't impressed by what I saw and what information I got. So when I got approached to do a show with a psychic, I'm a physical medium. I'm like, I'm not doing that.
I don't want the guys giving me crap about it.
Well, you know what? I can really give 2 craps what anybody thinks, and some of the guys do give me crap, but I put them in their place. And then, for the most part, if you get crap from somebody, it's usually out of jealousy. But the rest of the guys I worked with, they're all very supportive, and they ask me all the time, "Is she the real deal?" And I'm like, "Bro, would I be doing this if she wasn't the real deal?" Because all I got is my reputation and my integrity. I don't have college degrees. I don't have a PhD. I don't even have a high school diploma. So for me, it's like, this is all I got is my reputation and my integrity. So that being said, I said, I'm not going to wish that just to be on television and to support a fake psychic or a medium for that case. So, they're pretty supportive for the most part.
Yeah, I was watching because, we've been to the Catfish Plantation in Waxahachie a couple times, and so I was watching that episode, and it was very interesting, some of the stuff that you guys came up with, and, the connections with the locations around. Now,
right.
the thing that I'm so impressed as far as the show is that you guys don't talk, prior to the reveal or whatever, and research is a really huge deal as far as in the paranormal. And a lot of people have problems, I guess, finding really good information just when you go on the internet, because it'll bring up just all kinds of crap, Yeah. I mean, I know you have probably access because of your police officer status, but where would the average Joe go to get really good information?
Yeah, I mean, the problem is a lot of the sites I use and my assistant uses is you have to pay for.
Right.
Like when I'm trying to find a descendant, I use LexisNexis or Accurate, which is a paid site, and I get information because of my PI license that most people can't get. And I have contacts, though, where I can get a phone number or an address or, a plate number or car, something where I can try to track somebody down. I mean, the rest of the research is pretty easy. You go to these websites where you can find a legal address of a location, and from that you go to the map websites that are out there that you don't have to pay for. That'll take you into ancestry.com to track down the first thing you got to do is get a chain of title. You got to get the deeds, find out who owns the place. That's step number one. And a lot of times I'll use a title company because I don't have the time to do this, put the request in, and then some of these agencies you got to wait 3-4 weeks before you get a response back. Some of these municipalities, and it's a headache. So I'll pay for a title company. So a lot of these things are costly, and the average person can't or shouldn't have to pay for all this stuff. I mean, 95% of stuff is public knowledge.
Right.
Like Ancestry.com you got to pay for, or findagrave.com you got to pay for. These are the things we use. They're common websites used by any researcher. So what I do is not that difficult, and what my assistant helps me with is not that difficult. The difficult part is figuring out what's BS and what's not. And if you have a name like John Smith, who owned the property in 1855. How many friggin' John Smiths are out there in 1855? Every other goddamn guy out there is John Smith.
Right.
How do you track this guy down? And that's where the legal address comes in with the plot numbers and the original maps and then the overlay map. It's a headache sometimes. We prepare 30 days before I go out to a location.
Wow.
So it's not like I walk in the door and just start. I can never do that. But most of my information I'll have beforehand. That's just kind of background stuff. And then once I start talking to the clients, like I'll talk to the clients before I get out there. But I want to talk to them in person. My interviews can take 2 hours sometimes, and there's 3 minutes of it on TV. So a lot of the information I'm getting, the audience doesn't see.
Right.
And I get, it's not about me or Amy, it's about the client. So what they're going through is the most important thing. What I uncover is that'll come later on.
Yeah, and that is so good because you can read people so well, and I see your face, and I know that being in the military and being an officer, police officer, you get some sort of desensitized to some point. Because I know you've seen some really crazy stuff. Because I also know that you were helping in 9/11, and so I know that you've seen some really horrific stuff. What about have you seen that the cases that you've been on with Amy? Which one actually moved you to almost tears? Like, was there one case in particular that you can think of? I mean, that really got to you?
Probably Brown Summit in North Carolina. They had a daughter that was disabled, and Amy thought she might have even been possessed at some point, but she had 15, 30 surgeries, and she would just cry. I mean, a sobbing cry that was so gut wrenching that I don't know how you can sit there all day and listen to her cry without breaking down yourself.
Right.
She was an older girl. She was 21, but she had to be helped to the bathroom. I mean, she was. We never put her on camera, but I did talk with her. And that whole family, I tell you, they're just an incredible family. Talk about, if they didn't have the nuclear family that they had, I don't know how they would have been able to survive what they were going through. That's one of the cases that kind of got to me. I mean, like you said, I've seen and been through so much. It's hard for me to get upset. But
right.
But I do empathize really well with people. You got to understand something. What I'm doing now is basically I'm just dealing with crime victims.
Right.
That where the perpetrators are paranormal. So you don't see the other side of me where I'm doing interrogations or I'm getting somebody's grill or trying to get information out of somebody that doesn't want to give me information. Although this season coming up, starting in April, you may see me get pissed off a little bit. Got a couple of witnesses come on the pit. I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know if they'll keep it in, if they're going to edit it out, but I did get pissed on one of our cases.
Oh no, we're going to throw some Tony Soprano action up in there. You're gonna really put that picture that I got on the graphic to good use, because I love that picture. I picked that picture out for a purpose. I was like, dude, I'm like the biggest Tony Soprano fan ever, and when I heard you talk on Dead Files, I'm like, I like this guy already, because I mean, here I am going, he should be on the actual Sopranos, not Dead Files. Hell,
yeah.
I mean, I love that show.
Upbringing, I guess, I don't know.
I mean, but you're so good with your fans, and that's a lot of the thing that I was also seeing as one of your posts that I was going to talk to you about that I wanted to commend you on, because I do not understand the same way you don't, as people that are actively on TV that are getting paid by a network, and not, and why in the world, if these guys were not on TV and these people wouldn't be their fans, then they wouldn't be making any money. So you get upset when they charge for autographs and things like that. Photos.
Yeah.
I
noted. Believe me, I made a lot of enemies in the industry because of that. And I can really give two rats' asses about any of them, because they don't pay my bills. I pay my own bills, so they can kiss my ass. Anybody that's on TV is pissed at me, they can kiss my ass. I can care less. I have my own way of thinking, my own morals. How can I charge a fan who's already paying to get into a location that you're at for a picture? I mean, how friggin' egotistical you got to be that, I'm so great, you have to pay for a photo of me? That's bullshit. That's just crap. You're the reason I'm on television. You're the reason I'm making a living. This is just a way of me giving back. I mean, I can't give back everything. This is my way of, what's a photo cost? $4, $5 to print up? So I go through 100 photos. Big deal. I get that back 20 times over in the fans that adore the show and like what we do. So
right.
That's like going into a ball game, paying for a ticket, and then paying the guy that's in the ball again. Oh, I'm watching you bat. Here's $10 for me to watch you bat. That's nonsense.
It is. It's crazy. And then the thing that really upsets me is that these people, these little kids, they'll go to these cons and they'll be so excited to see, people that are on TV. And I'm not going to name any names because that's not what we do here. But it's just that, you can't be a snot to your fans. When they're paying to see you, you can't be a snot. I mean, I've seen people that I've even looked up to, completely like fluff off their fans. Like when they come up and go, hey, can I have, get a picture, and they act like it's a total pain in their ass. And it's like, oh my God, you're a paranormal investigator on TV. That is major for you. So how about appreciate it a little bit and be nice to your fans? And that's the thing that I hear a lot about you, is that you're great with your fans.
Well, I try to be. I try to interact with them on Facebook and on Twitter. I mean, I get probably 1,000 messages a day, so it takes me sometimes a few days to get back to people or, like a comment. And I read all the comments.
Right.
And I like them. And if I don't like your comment, I'm not going to hit a like on it. So it's that simple. But, I've seen it firsthand. I did a lot of security off duty when I was on the job for movie sets and private security for movie stars and stuff like that. And I saw firsthand what being an asshole. Ooh, can I even say that on the show?
Oh yeah, you can say whatever. You can drop the F-bomb whenever you want.
All right, I apologize. It's the Brooklyn.
No.
When I get. So I've seen them act like assholes, and then I've seen them act incredible. Like Richard Gere, to me, is an idol for me. The guy was incredible. I bodyguarded him for 2 days straight, and thinking how I had a preconceived notion of what kind of a man he was going to be. And he turned out to be the complete opposite. And I would run through a wall for that guy. That's how great he was. That's how good he was to the fans that were meeting him. I won't mention any names like you said, but there's a lot of people that I did security for that showed me how not to act. Not that I ever thought I was going to be on television, and I wasn't raised that way. I was raised, treat people kindly because it comes back to you sooner or later, hopefully,
Karma can be a bitch if you are, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not. It doesn't take anything to say hello to somebody. Where I live now, I seem to run into fans everywhere. Everywhere I go, I run into a fan, and I always take photos. I went to the movies the other night, and a fan passed me going through and I was late for the movie, but I stopped to take a photo for her because she was a fan. I mean, come on. Well, you walk away because I'm late for a movie? The movie will wait.
Yeah, there was a report of one of the big wigs on TV that was at Scarefest. I can't remember if it was this time or the time before, but, a kid walked up and he was very excited, and he said, "Oh, God, can I have your autograph?" And the person said, "Yeah, hold this," and it was like a styrofoam cup with Coke or something in it, and he took a drink of it or whatever and then handed the kid the cup and then just walked the heck off, and the kid was just standing there like, really? And I'm sorry, but if I'd have been there, I'd have called him out and go, "You douche." You know what I'm saying? Why?
Yeah.
Why do you have to be an asshole to that little kid? Now he's like completely crushed. You know what I mean? And it could have taken 2 minutes.
That's all it takes. And that happened to me as a kid. One of my idols in a rock band. And, that broke my heart. And to this day, that was 40 years ago, 35 years ago, and I still remember it. But, the other thing is, don't get me wrong. When I made that comment, I said actively on television. If you're not
actively,
TV, right? Yeah, if your days are over on television and you're the only living or income you have is going to these events and selling your stuff, I have no problem with that. That I have no problem with. And God, I never had that problem. But I wouldn't do it anyway. I mean, I wouldn't do that to make a living. I'd have a clean ticket and have somebody pay for my photo. That's just me. Right. My beef is with people that are on television that are actively getting paid because fans are watching your freaking show. It's that simple.
Right. And they keep watching your show. Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
do the right thing.
And it's sad because, just like me, I was a fan just like, everyone else. And I mean, I'm still a huge fan. And I'll be a fangirl, when I get to meet you. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, but I will. But, the the thing is, it's so disheartening. Even if you're 40 years old and you've looked up to somebody for so long, and you meet them, and at first they are real cool and stuff, and are real cool to you, and are like your friend or whatever, and the next thing you know, you get your back stabbed, and it's like,
right.
Seriously, I don't. Why? So it is disheartening, and to a littler, a younger child or whatever, it does stick with you,
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not cordial to all fans. If I got a guy come up to my face, say, "You're that ghost guy," that annoys the shit out of me. That will get you a nasty look, because
thank God.
I don't ghost hunt. I'm an investigator.
Right.
I do a pragmatic investigation. You don't see me out there with an EVP machine or a ghost box or any of that. Nope. I'm doing an investigation. I'm investigating a house that has paranormal activity, but I'm not a ghost hunter. You know what I mean? So
right.
It's kind of like just being a little disrespectful in my book. Not to have anything against paranormal investigators. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with, if people come up to me, they know my whole name and everything. Hey, you're Steve DiSchiavi from the Dead Files. Oh, I read the show. That's great. You come up to my face and say, hey, you're that ghost guy, right? Now you and me got a problem. You know what I mean? Now we got a problem.
I don't think I would want to have a problem with you, Steve. Just saying. I've seen the size of your arms. But no, I've also been seeing a couple of pictures. I see that you and George Lopez have made friends, and that photo of you and George on the floor cracked me the hell up. And
I was helping him on the floor. It was pretty funny. He was worried about because I'm just a fun guy when it comes to that stuff. So me and George are pretty tight. So
I saw he said your paint job. I saw he said your paint job wasn't that great. Maybe you should start over.
Yeah, him and his smart ass remarks. Yeah, I'm looking at my paint job now. It looks really good with the light on it.
It does look good. I'm sorry. I mean, I just got through painting my cousin's house a few weeks ago, so I feel you. I feel you with the painting thing. My rotator cuff on my right arm still hasn't recovered from it.
You know what sucked is I started at like 10 o'clock yesterday morning. I finished up at 4 a.m.
Oh my!
Because I had to move furniture, I had to tape everything off, and it took 3 coats of paint on each wall, and you have to wait for it to dry. I got windows open, I got the sliders open, and the old saying, I had to watch him paint dry. That's what I did all day yesterday.
Well, you live in Florida now, which is really cool, and you lived in New York, and now you've moved to Florida. Talk about a climate change.
Yeah.
And I see you're loving it.
Yeah, you know what? I got a great view on both sides of my place. I'm on the 29th floor, so burglars aren't going to get up here, so that's good.
Wow.
I live in a great, I live literally 1.5 miles from downtown Fort Myers on the river, and it's a great little town. I kind of basically, found all my little niches in town, made a lot of new friends. So it's a good change from the whole New York hustle and bustle. Although with all the snowbirds down here, traffic's a little annoying.
Yeah, I lived in Tampa and Clearwater, so yeah, I love Florida. The only thing that wasn't good was if you were a chick from Texas with big hair, like when I was there in the 80s, the humidity was not really fun to deal with your hair.
yeah, my hair ain't doing too good down here either, I know.
Yeah, but you didn't have the problem I did, man. It just looked like, it was bad when you had big hair and went out in 2 seconds later, it was like,
yeah. Had that big 80s hair going on.
Hell yeah, I had the big, I didn't want to admit it, but it was kind of a feminine mullet. That had like highlights and stuff in it, what I called frosted back in the day. When I said frosted at the hairstylist 2 weeks ago, she goes, what? And I go, what, did I just age myself? I'm sorry, I lied.
I was talking to a girl in the bar the other night. I was talking about Gilligan's Island. She looked at me like I had 7 heads. Yeah.
Like, what is that?
Yeah, because I had just seen it on, I forget what channel it was on, one of these older stations, and I was talking to the bartender about Gilligan's Island, and I go, don't you love that show? And she looked at me and goes, what? She made it look like I was a farm animal. I'm like, all right.
You're going, oh shit, you're too young for that. Yeah. I mean, I asked one of my friends, had they seen something, and it was like in the 80s or something, and they looked at me, and I go, never mind, just forget I said that. Because I forget you're like 20 freaking 5, so shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I have that problem.
I saw that you were...
They're all young.
Right. I saw that you were at Seven Sisters.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that place? Because I've heard some stuff about it, but I mean, how was that event, and was there anything that really happened that you know of that was cool?
The event was great. I got to work with Stacey Jones, which was fabulous. I got to meet John Savas and Brian Kano. I got to meet a lot of people. You know, I don't go to these events because of the paranormal end of it, even though I get involved in it.
Right.
And I use it as a learning experience because I want to see what paranormal investigators are actually doing when they go into these homes. Mm-hmm. So that when I talk to a client, and they said they've had paranormal investigators, and I can answer them, ask questions, because I know what's going on now. That's why I'm trying to educate myself on what kind of tools they're using, what they're doing when they go into a house. This way, and that's not for me so much as it's me to relate to Amy.
Right.
And then I can get down to the nitty gritty of what the hell did they do? Did they use an EVP machine? Did they use a ghost box? Were they belligerent when they were talking to the whatever was in your house? Stuff like that.
Right.
The event was great. I got to meet a lot of great fans. I gave away a lot of photos. Which was people walking up to me with cash in their hands. I'm like, put your money away.
Yeah, forget that.
Please put your money away.
Yeah.
And, it was a good time. I actually stayed in apparently a very haunted room in the inn, and I slept like a baby. I had no problems, But it was funny because they had they had a couple of mediums attached to the groups that they were walking through because we were in, like, each station. We were set to one station. So
right.
Of the house, and they would come around every half hour. So the mediums that were attached to the groups walked in the room, and they looked at me, and they're like, there's nothing here. They said, you're a diffuser. I'm like, a what? And this wasn't the first time I've heard that type of comment.
You're a ghost blocker.
Right, yeah. When I walk into a room, it's kind of like, what blocker. And when
right.
So apparently when I walk into a room, if there's any paranormal presence there, they kind of leave. Not because I'm an asshole, but because I don't know. Just because I guess they said I give off a vibe where they know I'm not going to tolerate any bullshit. Number one, I don't care.
True. I kind of get that too.
Yeah, alive or dead, I ain't taking none of your bullshit. So I guess that kind of transcends out to the whatever's there. And every time they walk in, they're like, we ain't going to get nothing in this room.
It's so funny because my friend Annette, she's really a tall girl too, like I am, and there was a time where she was having a problem with every time she has a really big group, and every time they would go on an investigation, they would get nothing when she was there. So she said she was a ghost, what blocker. And I'm like, well, you can't go with me because they actually flock to me. And the thing is, and I get irritated with people that provoke. And I know that Amy's really stern. She really doesn't appreciate a lot of the paranormal groups, and I think it's because she probably has heard so many horror stories about how they stirred shit up and then took off and didn't help the family. And so I wish that I could meet her just to assure her that not all teams are like that we actually follow through.
No, she does know that. She knows there's a lot of good groups out there. And what I loved about being at the Seven Sisters Inn and working with Stacey Jones was I got to see how it's done properly and in a respectful manner.
Right.
It was kind of funny. They had something where you let the box light up if Steve takes off his shirt, and the box lit up. So everybody in the room wanted me to take my shirt off. So I thought that was funny.
That is funny.
Go ahead. I wound up falling asleep in the chair when they would go, while the whole thing was going on. And, it was getting late, and I was tired, and my head was back, and I was out cold.
days. It's too easy never to forget. Believing lies and reservations pushed us far apart. Am I alone? Am I alone? Every day finishing another dimmed piece of my own. 4 years to keep coming back to me. Never thought we could lose so much. Wanting more when nothing changes. That held us far apart. Am I alone? Am I alone? Every day furnishing another day.
Yeah, you guys hung up on me. I'm like, what the hell happened? I thought it was my
I know.
fault, but it wasn't.
I thought it was my fault. I went, what just happened? She goes, oh, my God, I've been trying to call you back. So I'm so sorry about that. I have no clue what just happened. So go ahead and talk about the Seven Sisters again. We were talking about how you saw how it was done right and
Yeah,
things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I got to see professionals doing it and using the equipment. So for me, it was a learning experience. And listen, I'm not into ghost hunting. Let's make that clear. I don't want to be on any ghost hunt. I want nothing to do with it. I got enough problem with the living people out here. I don't want to be involved in anything else. You know, so it doesn't interest me. But I don't knock any. You know, music interests me. You know, stuff like that. I'm not interested in. You know, on my part time or off time doing ghost hunting. It's just not. You know, I'm what I do is to help people. It really, part of it has nothing to do with ghost hunting. They just have different strokes for different folks. People like to go fishing. Some people like to bowl. You know, who like to jump out of a freaking plane, which makes no sense. You know,
I'm with you on that.
Yeah. So to me, everybody has their own thing. So when people say to me, "Oh, how come you don't like ghost hunting, or you don't like ghost hunters?" I have nothing. I love the ghost hunters. I love the paranormal community. I mean, they're great. They're really friendly and they're great to talk to. I'm just not interested in it. So don't take offense to that. I just you want to talk about heavy metal and classic rock? I'm all for it. You know, you want to talk about drums and music and I'll talk all day long. You want to talk about how to interrogate somebody? I'll help you out with that. I just don't. I have no interest in that stuff. So I hope nobody takes offense to it.
Oh no, and the thing that I appreciate with Amy and her and your stance as well about provoking. When people do go in and provoke, I've seen her react when she said that people have done stupid shit like Ouija boards and shit like we don't. I mean, I know that Ouija boards are just another form of communication, but still, you just don't take shit like that into someone's home.
No.
And shit and leave.
Right, and I try to interview, if I know there was a paranormal group in a home, I try to get a hold of that group, interview the leader of that group on camera. Does it ever make it to air? I can name 1 out of 86 episodes where it actually made it to air, and I don't think it made it to air. It's probably a webisode or something, but I try to interview anybody that's been, you got to understand, probably 50% of my interviews never make it to air.
Right.
So,
a lot of stuff doesn't. It's just they compile all that stuff into like 43 minutes of
I mean, 80 hours of filming. Yeah, I mean, we filmed 80 hours in a week. So, but I interview these people to find out what they did or what they may have found out. That they hear a name, that they, to give me a lead. And find out, and I'll get in their grill and say, don't bullshit me. Did you provoke anybody that was here? And did you play that whole tough guy, in a room with nobody in it? Hey, come on and hit me or something like that? Because that's all crap to me. You want to be a tough guy going to a room full of men and then say that. Living there. Right. Doing that in a scary-looking building.
My team is very big on respect, portion of it. And we come in nothing but love and respect. And, We don't yell, we don't scream. We treat those spirits as if they were a loved one of ours that had passed, like our mom or our, our grandma or whatever, because you don't know. And if somebody came into my house yelling, right, "Oh, I'm here, come out and talk to me," I'm sorry, but I'd be like, kiss my ass, you know what I mean? Don't come in here yelling at me, you know what I mean? And I would jack with them as hard as I could other ways, but I would never give them an EVP, and I would never do anything, like that. Yeah. It's just nuts.
Well, it's like we did that episode in the Amagosa Hotel, and apparently they were letting groups go into that back end of the hotel that was unfinished, and people were getting shoved, and all this other physical stuff was happening to them. And, Amy basically said that the dead people, they were fed up with people coming in, antagonizing them.
Right.
So, I mean, I'd feel the same way if I was dead and was hanging out in a hotel and people coming in every day antagonizing me. I'd get pissed too. Now, hopefully that won't be me when I drop dead, but, hoping to be that big sunset in the sky somewhere.
Right. So, there's a couple of events that I was wanting to know what events you're going to be at this year that you have scheduled. I know that you don't do a whole lot of them, but I wondered if somebody had grabbed you.
Yeah, I'm trying to maybe doing one in Texas with Shauna Deidre, and I'm up in the air about yes, and I'm up in the air about the Scarefest one in Kentucky. I've had some issues with them with the whole paying for autograph thing, so I don't know what's going on with that. My schedule, I just got my updated schedule. We start filming next week, and we go all the way to July 21st for the season to follow the one that's going to air in April. So we just finished filming in December for the episodes that are going to start airing in April. And again, I apologize to the fans about the delay of when it gets aired. That has nothing to do with me, Amy, or Matt. It's a Travel Channel decision. We're not happy with it. I can tell you right now, we are not happy with it. Producers aren't happy with it. The fans are not happy with it. But, there's nothing we can do about it. I mean, I don't know what goes into making these decisions, and I'm not privy to it, and I have no input. Because believe me, they're ready to go, these episodes, so why are they not being aired? So, I don't know. Travel Channel is a great channel. David Gerber's our executive producer there. He's fantastic, but that's out of his hands as well.
Right.
It's a network decision. I know the fans are pissed, and they're like, get back to work. We want more episodes. I get a little annoyed with that comment because,
I've been working, fool. I've been working. Stop showing y'all.
Yeah, 5 months on the road, and then when I'm off on the break, I'm helping, with developing the new episodes we're going through. So I don't ever get a break, really. And, it's a 4 to 5 month turnaround from once it's filmed before it's ready to be aired. You don't forget, there's 80 hours of footage that has to be condensed into 42 to 44 minutes.
Yeah. We're doing the same thing. I'm doing a show right now, too, and that's the same thing. We're doing a 30-minute to present to the networks, and it's like you're going to go film, 2 days of this place, and it's going to be condensed into 23 minutes of footage, and that's a lot. That's a lot of stuff on the floor. You know what I mean? That didn't get used.
Yeah, and on our show's unique in itself because it's actually 2 shows in one because they came in totally separate. So you got her part of it, and then my part of it, and then the final scene with the reveal. So there's actually 2 shows being filmed at the same time, which is difficult,
Oh yeah.
And, our show's unlike any other where it takes 8 days for us to film an episode. Then that doesn't include any of the background stuff that goes on.
Okay.
So
I was wondering about that. How many episodes y'all actually shoot, and how long it takes per episode? Because the audience doesn't see how much work actually goes into it because they think that you go in there and this is all what you get in one shot, and then that's it. So when they go on investigations, like at these public things and stuff, first off, it's not a true investigation because there's too much contamination and talking and all that. But the thing is, with that, they expect for stuff to happen just like that. That's why we're doing my show, because it's going to show you that every location is not going, you can't make them do on command, because these teams get one shot only, a lot of them. They don't get to stay at the location 3 days. Right. So I want to show people what it's really about, what it's really like. You know what I mean? Not all this possessed, oh my God, I'm possessed at every location, and, you know, all this dramatic BS. You know what I mean? I really want to show them how real, true, everyday paranormal investigators do their thing. And,
and that's not going to be scripted. Yeah, and that's a good thing, you know. Our show is not really about paranormal investigation. It's more about Amy's abilities and my research and interview techniques. So it's not really a paranormal show, you know, because she's got abilities that nobody else has, most people don't have, and I'm doing my thing, which most detectives can do, but, you know, it's not one of those shows where we're going in, because people ask all the time, have you ever caught anything on camera? We're not set up for that. Right. You know, we're set up to film Amy. We're set up to film me interviewing somebody. We don't have cameras or GoPros on a closet waiting for the door to open. That's that's not how it works.
That's our job. That's our job.
Yeah, I mean that's a paranormal group and paranormal investigators job. That's not what we do. People get you've never had an experience. I find that hard to believe. Well, why not? I mean, I just never had an experience. I don't expect to have an experience. I don't need to have an experience. Do I really have one?
You've had enough.
Good. I've had enough experience in my life. Trust me.
I know. I've heard.
Yeah, I've had enough to live a couple of lifetimes. So I'm very happy not having an experience.
So when Amy does her thing, and I know she does the sketches with the sketch artist at the end of the deal, and her walkthroughs, I've seen your face. I mean, Amy makes some funny ass faces. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Her faces crack me the hell up sometimes.
Yeah, she does have some pretty funny faces. I look at her sometimes when she's making those faces, and I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to, I can just see that audience now saying, look at the face that Amy just made, which makes them.
Yeah, she does, but man, she really, it's really crazy to watch how she actually feels the things, and then when she goes and she does the sketches and to see your face, like, and then the clients that you reveal it to's face, and they're like, holy shit. I mean, some of it it blows all of y'all away, and the way she does her thing is different. I'm friends with Chip Coffey, and he's a great guy, and he's a great psychic, and he does his thing really well too. But they're so different. And all psychics and mediums seem to be a little different than the other. And, I don't know how Amy gets her messages, but I know that she gets them stronger than some of the other psychics because she actually feels the pain. Has she ever scared you, like when you're watching some of the stuff? Has she ever kind of made you nervous about putting herself in danger?
No.
No?
I mean, I look at Amy as a partner on the street. I mean,
okay.
Nobody's forcing her to do it. Nobody's forcing me to do this.
Okay.
So it's like, to me, it's like if I got shot at when I was a cop, you feel bad because I got shot at, but nobody told me to be a cop. You know what I mean?
True.
Nobody's telling her to go into these homes and do this. She doesn't have to do it. It's what she does. It's her passion. So I don't look at it that way. I look at her as a street partner that, we're in this this is what happens. This is part of being a cop is getting shot at and taking out bad guys. And I got hurt 27 times while I was in my 22 years. So that was part of it. You know what I mean? So to me, it's part of her job. I feel bad for her when she's going through the physical pain because I don't want to see anybody feel sick. But, it's just, to me, it's her doing her job and that's it.
I think the one time that she freaked me out actually was at the Catfish Plantation, that episode. Excuse me, with the lady's arms, the apparition they were seeing with the really long arms, and she was like going, "Oh, my arms are hurting," and I was like, "Oh my God," because I've done investigations at the Catfish Plantation, and I'm thankful to God that I don't have Amy's abilities because I wouldn't want to have felt that. I was like really concerned, like, and I guess Matt was too. That's the camera guy's name, right, Matt?
Yeah, Matt's Amy's ex-husband, right? Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. I didn't know that. That's a new piece of information. But yeah, he even looked like he was kind of concerned. He's like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Oh, my arms are just killing me. They're hurting." And I'm like, "Wow." there are just, I've never been around a person with the abilities to actually, I guess, feel that deep. You know what I mean? I mean, I could, you know, like, some of my friends will go, okay, there was a problem in the chest area. There was like lungs, or something like that, but nothing to where they would go, oh, and couldn't breathe. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so she adds another level to it.
Yeah, I mean, I am concerned when she goes into these locations what's going to happen, because when I hear the pre-stories of what's going on, I'm thinking to myself, shit, I wonder what she's going to wind up encountering here, because it sounds like it could be dangerous. Right. Because the cases we're taking on now, we would have never taken on. I mean, the cases we did the first couple of seasons, we wouldn't do today. Not that they're less important, but we've all let the bar very high right now, where it's, I want to know if people getting physically touched, if there's kids involved, elderly involved, that's where our main concern is. Are there a couple episodes in there that get thrown in that maybe aren't as severe? It just happens, it's one of those things. But right, the cases we take on, I think a lot of that has to do with people being willing to open up and actually talk about it and know that there's somebody out there that's actually going to listen. That's not a whack job and says, because I'm not into the paranormal, so for me to listen to somebody and listen to their story is more, I think, is more open for them to, well, this guy will listen to me. He's a homicide detective, and he's not going to judge me. So I think that opens up the door to a lot more people reaching out to us for help.
So when they do reach out, how do you pick your cases? When they contact, I'm sure you get thousands of, please help me, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, we've got about 8,000 requests in our queue. I mean, they got to go on the Travel Channel's website, and there's it's called Help Me Dead Files. There's a picture of me and Amy. You click on that, and then you submit your case.
Okay.
And we got the producers that actually call back these people, and they start the preliminary intake and interviews of these people. It doesn't get to me or my producer, the head producer, until way after that process. A lot of people call it, but I have those, but I don't know if they're friendly. I think they're friendly, but was anybody endangered? Anybody no? But we really want Amy to come and let us know what we have. Well, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
We're not. I got people getting shoved down a flight of stairs. I'm not going to come to your house to just because we only do 13 episodes a season and 26 within a year. So you can only imagine how hard it is to pick and choose. And the Travel Channel has a final say on what episodes we do. So if we submit 20 episodes that we say we want to do, they may turn around and say, well, we don't want you to do these 10, you do these 10. So we don't have the final say on the episodes we're going to do. It has to get approved by the Travel Channel.
Well, of course. Everything does.
Yeah.
Everything does.
I mean, push comes to shove, it's still a TV show.
How many seasons has it been on now? It's going on what season?
The season 7 will be filming. TV 7 will be airing in April 25th is the premiere, and then we start filming the 8th season next week to go back out.
Wow. Who would have ever thought that you were going to be on TV with a sidekick on a show called Dead Files?
Yeah.
When you're sitting in a homicide office.
Yeah. Women thinking how handsome I am. The guys I used to work with are laughing. I said I couldn't get a woman to give me the time of day. Now they're all in love with me. I said, this is pretty funny.
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, seriously, I put the thing on Twitter and I put it on Facebook, and I've never in my life. And Shawnee's one of them. I'm gonna go ahead and call her out. Okay. He's like, whoa, he's so freaking hot. And I'm like, girls, y'all are cracking me up. And I said, I'm gonna have to razz him a little bit, give him just a little bit of shit about it when he comes on my show, because my friend Teresa says you're awesome, and Shawnee says you're awesome, and I'm like, well, I can't wait to meet him.
Yeah, I mean, I take it with a grain of salt, because listen, my entire life, no woman gave me the second glance, but I get it. But I'm very humbled by it. I'm very flattered, believe me. But for me, it's hard for me to accept. I never really got compliments, so for me to get compliments now is a little hard for me to. It's hard to swallow, to be honest with you. It's really hard for me to take serious, because I don't look at myself that way. I never did. I never got told I was good looking. I never got told I was handsome. So.
Well, you're getting it made up for now.
Yeah, a little bit, you think?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, and I appreciate it. I really do. I'm very, very flattered by it.
Well, I really appreciate that you came on my show. I know we've been trying for quite a while, but the schedules just weren't clicking, and I really, really appreciate it, and I know my audience was excited, so I want to thank you very much. And me and Shawnee will be getting back in touch with you about Parafest, the Southern Division, for the July thing. I'm hoping we can get you here.
Yeah, it's going to be a little, the dates are a little tough. I'll be flying back like 2 days before, so hopefully nothing will make the schedule push.
Right.
Knock on wood. I'm hitting my head as we speak, knocking on wood. If things go to schedule, which they have in the past, I should be able to make it. I just, and I want to come. I just want, my thing is I just want to meet the fans and say hello. And thank them personally. My thing is to thank them personally, because whenever I see a fan and they come up to me, I thank them wholeheartedly, because I know without them, I'd be back there doing security. So, and that's the reason why I always want to give back when I can.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Steve, and you have a great rest of your evening, and I appreciate it again for you being on my show.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you very much, and thank the audience for me, please.
I sure will. See you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. Sorry about the little technical difficulty in the middle of the show. I don't know exactly what happened, but we got it fixed, and Steve and I completed our conversation. I want to, again, thank him for being on the show, and y'all look for Dead Files to come on in April. I wanted to also announce a couple of things. We got Sloss Furnaces coming, the Sloss Furnace event, which is by Dark Side Entertainment, coming up Friday and Saturday. My show, Spirit Quest, will be there filming, and we're going to have some really cool stuff happening, so you need to get your tickets at slossfurnaces.com/events and get those now, because we're running out of time. Then we've got Ozarks Phenomicon in Springfield, Missouri, which is March 28th. We have History, Haunts, and Legends, April the 11th in Jefferson, Texas. Tyler Parathon in Tyler, Texas, which is going to be April 25th, I believe. And Tombstone, Arizona, May 1st and 2nd, and we will be filming there as well, and we'll be filming at the Springfield location, too. We also wanted to let you know about Southern Division Parafest, which we are planning right now, which will be coming up July 24th and 25th. We are having it at none other than Billy Bob's, Texas, in the Fort Worth Stockyards. Randy Hardy will be joining us, I believe, and we'll be making other announcements soon. So, working on Steve DiSchiavi, so y'all be sure and be watching all the announcements on my page, FEAR Paranormal Society, and Close to Death. Go to those pages and give us a like, and go to Spirit Quest. I will be reviewing everything from Sloss Furnaces next week, so you give me a listen, and we'll review everything that went on. Thanks again, and peace out. Y'all have a great week.